A hip injury 3 years ago is the reason Tom limps. That's what we strive to do. Tom had one arm in a sling. I'll take a nap after I eat. You have to do it for Tom. You must do it for Tom. You're making it up. Both Tom and Mary swayed to the music. How long is this river? Tom seems to have sprained his ankle. What happened here 3 months ago was truly horrifying. Is Tom still looking for a job?
The job requires the applicant to have passed the JLPT N2 exam.
I noticed Tom and Mary watching us with scowls on their faces. Most people obey the law. Tom had to work on Monday. Permit me to congratulate you on a job well done. When Tom saw Mary, his scowl turned into a smile. I can finally walk without a limp. Tom hates girls. The theater dimmed, and the movie began. I love that. Does Tom seem dim-witted to you? You need to settle your quarrel here and now. Tom heard a sound. They say that instinct makes you crave foods that are good for you. I noticed that Tom was shivering. We want facts. Tom's memories came flooding back. Tom got bullied in school. It was a sight to behold. Mary hates boys. Tom thinks girls are gross. Tom is scared of cooties.
People are divided on whether a universal basic income is feasible.
Today is Good Friday. Tom laughed when everyone else laughed, but the truth was that he didn't understand a single word of what they said. Check again in about 3 minutes. There was a moment of silence as Tom and Mary sipped their drinks. I'm not in the mood for pizza. Tom got bullied when he was a kid. Someone threw a stink bomb into the classroom. What's Mr. Jackson's first name? I think that Tom's temper impairs his judgment. I think that Tom died on October 20th. Look at the leer on Tom's face. It was truly a sight to behold. I had Tom write the letter for me. I met Tom on a certain winter day. Are you sure Tom isn't lying? Are you sure that Tom isn't lying? Everyone says that Tom is a good man. Everyone says Tom is a good man. Everybody says that Tom is a good man. Everybody says Tom is a good man. Everybody says Tom is a nice person. Everybody says that Tom is a nice person. Everyone says Tom is a nice person. Everyone says that Tom is a nice person. Do any of you know where Tom lives? I want to keep on doing this. Tom seemed very surprised at the news. Tom was shooting at rats with a slingshot. Don't let this impair your judgment. Tom was very surprised when he heard the news. Get on the scales. The next day, Tom was walking with a limp. Luckily, the whole crew made it safely to shore. The snow melted. The cheering stopped. The dog walked backwards. Boston is far from here. Boston is a long ways from here. May I help you, sir? Those shoes are worn out. Tom is clapping. I'll need a magnifying glass to read this small print. I kept a diary for 3 years when I was a teenager. How late will you stay up? Nobody asked for their money back. Nobody ever asked how I was doing. Neither Tom nor Mary took a sip. I've been keeping a diary in French for a number of years. The party was a lot better than I expected. I've been keeping a diary in French for several years. I started keeping a diary in French 3 years ago. I think that I've seen that guy before. The offices get cleaned every day. Tom took a sip of scotch. That movie was a box office flop. It looked like you were paying attention. It looked like you were having fun. It looked like you were bored. It looked like you weren't having any fun. The camera zoomed in on Tom's face. The only light in the room was a dim red light. It's Tom Mary wants to see. It's Tom that Mary wants to see. It's Tom Mary wants to talk to. It's Tom that Mary wants to talk to.